Hello, everyone. Welcome to LexTalk, World's talk show presented by Click of the Creators. Today, we have Mr. Shreyans Singhvi with us. Mrs. Singhvi is the founder of Shreyans Singhvi and Associates with an experience of almost a decade now. He has been associated with a lot of law firms, and we'll of course talk about that. And his area of expertise are there are a lot that we can talk about, but just to name a few, we have criminal law, arbitration, dispute resolution, and I said so on and so forth. So let's dwell down into this and let's welcome him for the session. Without further ado, so hi Shreyans, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really grateful
Great,
for
good
this
to.
opportunity. Thank you so much.
This is all our Shreyans. Thank you very much for being on this session. All right, so without further ado, let's dwell down into your legal journey and let's understand about a case. If you can tell us about a complex legal issue that you worked upon recently or in your past, and of course, if you can describe the complexity around it and how you really approached it.
So, a recent one, the most interesting one, which me and my office have been working on, has been on something, as you know, parents hold a very special place in the Indian ecosystem. So, the legislature has been very active in ensuring that their rights are protected. So they came out with, if you are aware of it, they came out with the Maintenance of Parents and Senior Citizens Act of 2007, which in short provides quick remedy to the senior citizens or parents to ensure that they are not ill-maintained by or ill-treated by their children, be it their boy or son or their daughter. So recently a son approached us complaining that his mother, under the influence of his sister, who is going through a matrimonial discord, wanted to throw him out of his parental house, which was actually bought by the father. So before coming to us, he had gone to a lot of other advocates who didn't give him a way out. We were fortunate enough, after a lot of research, mainly into the Benami Transactions Act, the Hindu Succession Act, and all other legal provision which we could have brought in the picture to get a right for him. So after that research, we were able to advise him, yes, you have a right. We can build a case for you claiming that the property which your mother wants to throw you out of is actually a property which is in the nature of an HUF property, which we know as a Hindu undivided family property, which was bought by his father. So therefore, he also had a right in it because it was actually purchased for the benefit of the entire family. So he could not have been thrown out. So after all the research and everything, we were able to advise him to go ahead and file a suit before the Delhi High Court. Fortunately enough, lucky, fortunate, whatever you want to call it, we were able to get him relief on the first day. And the very next day, the parents, the mother and the sister were on the settlement table. And now that issue is settled, though he's not residing in that very premises, but yes, the mother has been given that premises and all the other properties which were built up by the father are now standing in the name of the son or the client. So that was a really interesting one which we've been handling so much so far.
Brilliant, brilliant. Family cases. I mean, the cases that revolve around families are generally interesting to hear about it, because we always can relate to it.
Relate,
Not unlike the corporate ones.
not only relate to it, but there's some kind of emotion also involved. A lot of emotion, of course, from the client side, there is a lot of emotion, but we have to keep ourselves out of that emotion. But somewhere down the line, you get involved. You see how the client is being treated, what is happening, what is not. You get involved. So that gives you an additional kick to get him the relief that he's looking at. So I think that worked in our favor.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Talking about family, when I was going through, reading about you, I also read that your father asked you to join. In your early stages of practice, he asked you to join him along his side in High
Right.
Court, but you chose to come to Delhi and stand alone and do your thing. Um, how did that started and why you thought so? I mean, if I can ask
See,
you.
I'll be very candid with you. I have no qualms in sharing what my experience was. I was not a good student till class 12. I had 75-80% marks, which was nothing at that time. So my father running a law firm, which was one of the best law firms in Calcutta. I thought it's better. Let's play it safe. Let's start off with law and let's see where we'll head. Ultimately, I developed that interest in law by the end of the 5th year. Yeah, and when I graduated and I was supposed to join law, join the profession, I always wanted to join the profession. There was nothing in my mind that I want to go into the corporate side. It was always litigation for me. So my dad told me that, why don't you join me? I said, no, nothing doing. There's one person I don't want to be answerable or be working under the shadows is my father and feel the pressure. That is when I decided, no, I'll join a senior in Calcutta. Practiced in Calcutta for about 4.5 years till 2012 May, I think. And then in 2012 May, I took a call that let's take this ahead and shift to Delhi, where I commenced practice under Mr. Kailash Vasdev. He's also a senior lawyer in the Supreme Court. And thereafter, yes, I started my own firm with a colleague of mine. That firm and colleague still exists, but yes, I have taken over the entire business of that firm. And now I manage the entire business of the firm.
Yeah, so finally, it was, I guess, before this Mehta and Singhvi, and then now it's Shreyans Singhvi.
Right, exactly.
Brilliant, great. That's a beautiful answer. I mean, I just wanted to understand how that psyche works. Okay, so because we are being so candid about the conversation, so I have one more question. I've never, I guess, asked this to any lawyer so far, and I'm being really honest.
Right.
What is that one thing that you like about legal profession, and that one thing that you don't like about same profession?
See, with an experience now, I'll be completing 15 years of practice, I think, next year. So those 14 years, one thing that I've enjoyed the most is actually drafting. If you can keep me in office and pile up briefs that I have to draft plains or written statements or writ petition, I'm happy doing that. That is one thing which challenges me. Yes, there is a lot of research, lot of reading which goes into it before you start that draft or whatever it is. But yes, that is the one thing I can just work on it. It's in my mind. If I have to draft a writ petition, urgent, not urgent, I can forget dinner, I can forget lunch, I can forget whatever comes to my plate. It's the draft at that moment that can keep me going 365 days, 24/7. And as far as not the worst part, but the bad part actually is the amount of time that we litigating lawyers waste in court. I'll give you an example of yesterday. I think my effective item before the Delhi High Court yesterday was item number 10. In any other court, it will reach by 11 o'clock. But the matter yesterday reached at 3:30. We could not leave the court premises and come to office, do the other pending work. We had to stay put there because the board could collapse anytime and the matter could be called on any other time. So we had to stay put. Nothing, you can't apply your mind into anything because the matter is important. You are always thinking about what's going to happen. So that's the bad part, not the worst part, but yeah, bad part. We could avoid that. Yes, virtual hearings have reduced that, but still it's not going to stay for long. It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. So talking about, I mean, I have another one for virtual hearing. You see, we all survived pandemic. That's the right word, survived. And you know, when we talk about legal profession, we all saw, you know, courts begin moving towards more for remote proceedings and availability. And that was a surprise for everyone, I believe. And I guess same goes for you. Is this sustainable, this remote proceedings? And is this a possible way to reduce the justice gap? What do you think?
Since you have not asked this, but since you've been interacting with a lot of lawyers, which you may have done now over the years, you must have come across a face which was quoted, or it has been regularly quoted all throughout, is by Lord Hewitt. He was the Chief Justice of England. He had said that justice must not only be done, but has to be seen to be done. You see, virtual hearings has its boons and banes. It has led to reduction of time, reduction of cost of litigation for litigants. It has made it accessible. But also what it has done is now clients or litigants who could not come to court and see actually what happens in court, They can see how the lawyers are interacting with the judge, what kind of submissions are being made, and what the judge actually responds, how the judge responds to that submission and grants him that relief. It may not be in entirety or maybe in part, but he can actually see what's happening. So that access has been provided through this remote proceedings. That's it. As far as sustainability is concerned, see, it is sustainable, no doubt, but it has to start from the grassroots. If you don't provide infrastructure to the courts, which district courts, lower courts, whatever you want to call it, this will not survive, because your basis for doing justice is the lower courts or the district courts. Supreme Court, High Court, yes, it's the ultimate place, but you come actually from the lower court. So they have to, their infrastructure has to be improved so that that sustainability of remote proceedings or virtual hearings takes the actual shape which the Supreme Court judge, Mr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, is actually looking at. So that has to be there. Otherwise, it's a good change. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully, no more COVIDs and no more pandemics of different kind. That's it.
I mean, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
I recently had a discussion with another lawyer, and he said the same thing. I mean, I guess we had to, or we should have done it the other way. You see, it's the issue of infrastructure. That's what he said.
Right.
It should have not gone from the branches to roots.
Right.
It should come from roots to branches.
Right. Absolutely. Because the pendency of cases is much more in the district courts than in the higher courts. So until unless you solve that problem over there in the lower courts, it will not solve. Lower courts, see, don't have the infrastructure. Building is not there. Electricity connections are a huge problem. So how do you provide that kind of connection where both the judge and the lawyer and the litigant can interact without any lags? That is the basis for it.
I mean, that's very right. That's very right. That people who comes from tier 2 and tier 3 cities can always relate to it.
Absolutely.
At least I can. I always can. So beautiful. Thank you very much, Shreyans, for this. It was a beautiful answer. Okay, let's light the mood here. You and me. I mean, I believe you are a lawyer of my generation. You see, a lot of disruption also came along with COVID. Ironically, legal tech was there in States and Europe, but then when COVID happened, it brought a lot of or shed a lot of light in the Asian market, I would say. So now I believe that all the lawyers, including you, is now using a lot of technology. The legal tech era is what you're entering. So what are the commonly used tools for you, or what you can suggest to other lawyers?
See, since we are being very candid, I'm very bad at technology. The minimalistic, I can dictate on a laptop, I can work on a laptop. That's the end of the story. I am very bad at it. But yes, COVID forced me to get into that. Of course, those legal research tools, SCC Online, LexisNexis, you have to use that because that's your basis for all your research. You can't be keeping, there is shortage of space. You can't keep that many amount of books or journals or whatever. So you have to ultimately rely on those online research material platforms which provide you all that. Apart from that, yes, recently I've been trying to convert my office into a paperless office. All my juniors, I have shifted into that, but I am still shifting into that. Papers still come to me on my iPad or on my iCloud storage device, but I still have to call my juniors to ensure that all those things are saved and opened up. It's taking time, yes, but that gradual shift is there. And I think at least as far as I am concerned, that's there. But looking at the judges at the Delhi High Court, which is one of the most technologically advanced courts in India, all of them have shifted to computers. Judges nowadays don't have bulky briefs beside their chairs. It's all computer. Notes are taken down on computer, which is fantastic to see. And that is one of the reasons why I motivated myself. Yeah, if with having no time at all, if they can get into that system, why can't I spend an hour's time and get into that system and maybe reduce the burden on the trees?
I mean, of course, and change is the only constant thing, Shreyans. We all should embrace embarrass. I mean, embrace for the change, and we have to do it. I don't know why I was about to say embarrassed, but yeah, we all have to be ready for it. Great. So I guess Manu Patra and these portals,
Manupatra,
of course.
SCC Online, LexisNexis, all of them have gone online. SCC though has its journal, but yes, I think 90% of 95% of my generation, my friends, colleagues have all shifted to SCC Online. Who's going to keep them, then ensure that they are adequately well kept and everything, keep a person to update it? It's additional burden and cost, of course. It's much better to have all these available. And the best point about all these is you can have it, it's available during court also. You're sitting inside court, you can just open up SCC Online, look for a judgment which is being used against you, and you're ready to answer the point, meet the point that the other side is taking against you. That's the best part about it.
I mean, that's very right. That's very right. All right. So now another question, or rather, I should say the last question that I have for you is basically related to something that I ask all the lawyers. Time management is it's a very common keyword. We use it every now and then. Maybe the most searched keyword on Google. I don't know. But time is money. That's how you phrase it always. And in legal, it's most of all. How do you ensure to make best out of your time as a lawyer, and of course not for just the profession but for the personal life as well?
See, I'll first talk about my profession. That's because I'll tell you why do I say so is because when I graduated, my dad told me one single line: Shreyans, law is your mistress. So even after marrying, you will end up giving most time to your mistress. So treat law as your mistress. So for me, from then, it's always been 24/7, 365 days. Even if I'm not on my working table, even if I'm binging on some Netflix or some kind of a web series, a matter which I'm working upon lately, it will always be on my mind. I will suddenly get up and start working on it after, even if I'm on a binge series or whatever it is. So it's, for me, it's 24/7. And as far as my personal life is concerned, yes, since I started my practice in Calcutta, Calcutta has a very weird system where on Friday evenings, all councils take an off. After 4 o'clock, no council will give you time for a conference. Neither will have a scheduled matter. Arbitrations may be there. After arbitrations, he might take off, but they are a complete off mode. They get back to work on Saturday. I have maintained that routine in Delhi as well. Friday, at least from 6 onwards till Saturday morning, is a complete no-no. I shut myself off, not exactly out of work, yes, but taking calls from clients or whatsoever which can bug me, I take it. I make sure I don't take it. It's all for myself. I do what I like to do, sleep, waste time, read, whatever. But that's how I balance it. That's it.
You said that while you are binge watching something or doing something, something clicks and you just start working upon it. There's something that we have seen in a lot of web series like Suits and all, and the new series that are coming in.
Eternal
But it
favorite.
really happens.
Suits is eternal favorite for all lawyers. You can not stop watching it. But one which example that comes to my mind is, if you recollect, Azhar's movie, Muhammad Azharuddin movie had come out on his life, his real life. So I remember I was in a midst of a service matter at that time, and a point was raised in the movie which I actually utilized to form the basis of my entire writ petition. That's
It
the
really happens,
fondest.
actually.
Absolutely, it happened. Absolutely, it happens. So therefore,
Brilliant,
law is
brilliant.
24/7 for me. Okay, I may switch it off, but back of the mind, it's law, nothing else.
The law never switches you off.
Absolutely. You switch it off,
Brilliant.
you are done. More the merrier. More you give
That's
time to
right.
law, merrier it is.
That's right. That's right. I will also take a reference which generally I take. I don't remember which movie it is. I just don't recall it. But it was a beautiful line in the last minute of that movie that legal profession is not the business of justice. It's a business of law, and it's that business that that keeps on bugging you every time. And if it's not bugging you, that's not really meant for you, or you're not really meant for it. So,
Absolutely.
either one
It
of the
has to
case.
bug you. It has to bug you.
Brilliant, brilliant, Shyam. This has been a wonderful discussion, and of course, we will have you for some next sessions on this, and we'll try to. This session was more about understanding you and your perspective, but next sessions, we'll of course try to dwell down into your cases further and ease in terms of understanding for the other audience, so that they can understand how the law really works, especially in your key responsibilities. So formally to thank you. I mean,
Thank
thank you so much for sharing such great insights with us. And of course, we look forward to having a chat with you again in the future on some of the trending topics in the international legal industry. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Grateful. Grateful. Privilege.
Pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine, Shreyans. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Shreyans, I want you to like this video, to share this video, and click on that red button to subscribe to Click Away Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming in from industry leaders like Mr. Shreyans Singhvi. This was Sagar for LexTalk World signing off. Thank you very much.